Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Wanted to touch base with you regarding the potential elimination of DBQs. For those that don't know, DBQ is a disability questionnaire. There has been a lot of information that I've been seeing trickle up regarding a specific bill that got signed into law or an act, and it's the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024. And in there, apparently, some folks are concerned that the VA will eliminate public-facing DBQs. Now, before I jump into it, I want to throw on a special thank you to Lawrence Trujillo, 65. Lawrence Trujillo, thank you so much, sir. You are a rock star. Thank you very much for that generous super chat, super comment thing. I really do appreciate your support so very much. It does mean the world to me. Thank you. Lawrence Trujillo, 65. You rock. All right, let's move on. So, public-facing DBQs are a tool for veterans to utilize with regard to getting the appropriate rating. There are two different types of tools that you can use with regard to your benefits claim. One is Nexus Letter. That helps you get service connected. Two is DBQ, Disability Questionnaire, helps you get the right rating, okay? Now, if you have a problem getting your physician to complete those, utilize AME. They're in the comments and the description. You can get a free consultation from them. At least hear what it would look like and see if it makes sense for you, right? If you need that type of evidence and your doctor can't or won't or doesn't do that type of stuff, reach out to AME. They're there for you. All right, so public-facing DBQs, since this is what we're focused on, not the Nexus, the DBQ, it's a tool. It's a blank form at the end of the day, so remember that. Garbage in is garbage out. You need to know what type of information you want your doctor to include. So you need to have a conversation and bring your doctor up to speed. You would want to talk to them about the rating schedule for the specific condition that you have so they can complete that DBQ correctly. Now, there's been a couple different outlets, I guess, talking about the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024, and we'll dive into it here in a minute. But I wanted to read to you some comments that I found regarding this specific subject and share that with you. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every thumbs up and every minute watched helps the channel to expand its reach so we understand and know what's out there, what's potentially happening, so we can sound the alarm if needed, right? So here we go. This is a comment that I found, and I'm sharing it with you here today. And I found this on Reddit, and this is their comment. All right. So this is from Grunt Marine. Thank you for putting that up, and let's go. VA may stop making DBQs available under new law signed last week by President Biden. All right. It says here, Biden signed S, which is for Senate Bill 2513 into law on Christmas Eve. And it is possible, if not likely, that VA will stop making some or all DBQs available as a request. As a request. Okay, so, and that's, again, now he's referencing the bill. And again, that bill name is the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024. Again, this has happened in the past. Okay, the VA has removed all public-facing DBQs in the past. I believe it was in 2020. And I'll probably do another video on that as well, just to kind of, what's the best way to predict the future, right? Let's look at the past. So let's move on. Among other things, under this law, the VA does not have to publish certain forms if it determines the form could not reasonably be completed to a clinically acceptable standard by someone who is not an employee or contractor of the VA. Okay, so that would be the most important point. So an employee or contractor of the VA, what are they talking about? They're talking about probably C&P examiners being contracted by the VA and employees of the VA who sometimes still do C&P exams. They pretty much have contracted them all out, it seems. So it seems as though this quotation is specifically targeting forms, DBQs or forms, that are completed outside of the VA or a specific contractor of the VA. So let's read that again. It says, under this law, and here's the quotation, the VA does not have to publish certain forms if it determines the form could not reasonably be completed to a clinically acceptable standard by someone who is not an employee or contractor of the VA. So the only kind of, I think, gray area would be the clinically acceptable standard. DBQs must be completed by a medical professional. So you would think that they would be able to complete that form in a clinically acceptable standard. Now, to the contrast of that would be, okay, well, they're public facing, a veteran could get that form, right? And then who's to say who fills it out? So moving on. Next is, several years ago, VA pulled all publicly facing DBQs only to republish them, and they did, and that is true. And they did pull them down. There was a big backlash from county veteran service officers, the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers, all the veteran service organizations had an uproar with the pulling down of DBQs. All right, so DBQs, it kind of goes on here with the remainder of his comment. I'm going to read through that here for you if I can get my mouse to work. All right, so DBQs are simply standardized forms, agreed, standardized forms. I'm trying to fix this for you. All right, so they're standardized forms that are streamlined to collect medical information required to award benefits under CFR guidelines, CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. DBQs were literally created by the VA so that private doctors and healthcare providers who regularly see veterans for their ailments to record medical information for VA disability claims. So in other words, what they're saying is let's put this form together that really asks the pointed questions that we, the VA, need to get answers to in order to rate a veteran. Let's put all that stuff in this form. Now let's make them public facing so a veteran can take that form to their doctor can complete it, and then they can get it returned to the VA with their claim in a standardized fashion to help the VA figure out what the rating should be. And then it moves on, wrapping up here, if you will. I hope I'm wrong, but Congress and Biden just gave the VA the power to not publish DBQs for use by veterans' private doctors. VA does not have to exercise this power, but it exists. True. And again, they did it in the past, and that's the big kind of key here. There is the actual Veterans Benefits Improvement Act. There's a little, I guess, synopsis, kind of one-pager on it. I'm going to go through that for you as well, just to bring you up to speed since this just passed. So the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act, which is now law, I'll go ahead and read through it. This bill addresses certain requirements related to Department of Veterans Affairs medical disability examinations for purposes of benefit claims and other administrative matters related to the benefit claims process and personnel. First, the bill updates procedures related to the publishing of VA disability benefit questionnaire forms. First, the bill updates procedures related to the publishing of VA disability questionnaire forms. Specifically, the VA does not have to publish certain forms if it determines, this is what he was saying, the form could not reasonably be completed to a clinically acceptable standard by someone who is not an employee or contractor of the VA. The bill also requires the VA to report on its efforts to provide reimbursement for a veteran's travel to a facility, regardless of whether the facility is inside or outside of the United States, when such travel is material to the medical disability examination for the purposes of VA benefits. So if you're going to a C&P exam, the VA must also include certain elements in contracts it enters with non-VA providers to provide medical disability examinations. So the contractor C&P examiners. Specifically, the contracts must require that every communication from the provider to the applicant regarding the scheduling of a medical disability examination must be transmitted to any person or organization that is legally designated to the applicant and is recognized for the preparation, presentation, and prosecution of claims. So if you, the veteran, went to a county VSO or worked with a veteran service organization, you may have signed an appointment form appointing them as an authority to assist you. If they're accredited with the VA, then they're just saying that information must go out to them too. Additionally, the VA must partner with veteran service organizations and other stakeholders as determined by the VA to implement an outreach program for veterans regarding contact information for non-VA providers that are providing medical disability examinations, and 2, the requirement for veterans to provide personally identifiable information when contacted by such providers to verify their identity. The VA must report on improving its support of governmental veterans service officers. The VA must establish a Board of Veterans Appeals internship program for individuals enrolled in the first or second year of law school. The VA must also implement a program to furnish student loan repayment benefits or reimbursements for courses, bar exams, or bar membership dues to certain attorneys who agree to work for the VA for at least 3 years. The bill extends and increase by 1 the temporary increase in the maximum number of judges presiding over the U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. Finally, the VA must report on improving access to telehearings for board and veterans appeals hearings. With that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.